Hey guys, welcome to another video. And in this video, I want to talk about how if you struggle with lust, you need to watch this video. And the reason that I'm making this video is because lust is something that I believe we've all struggled with or we've all encountered at some point in time. And the reason this hit me was I was thinking about it and I started to notice that whenever I would go on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and I'd be kind of scrolling, I would start to feel this sense of like anxiety or uneasiness. And I was thinking, I didn't know why I was feeling it, I didn't know where it was coming from. But when I really thought about it, I realized the reason I was feeling this anxiety from being on social media and from scrolling was because I was so paranoid that I might see something that I couldn't predict seeing and it would trigger me. And all of a sudden, I would feel tempted to watch porn, or I'd feel tempted to slip back into that, bad habit that I kind of broken myself free from. And so every time I went on social media, that was in the back of my mind, kind of subconsciously. It was like, I hope I don't see something that's going to get me to look at women a certain type of way. Because the problem is with social media, when you're scrolling on Instagram or scrolling on TikTok, there's nothing that really stops you from just stopping at a girl's page and just staring at her. Versus in public, obviously, if you see a girl, you're not going to stare at her for 10 seconds or 15 seconds or whatever. But it made me realize that with social media, you can do it, and sometimes you don't even realize that you're doing it. You could just be scrolling like it's another day, and all of a sudden you see this girl's profile or picture or video or whatever, and you're just staring, and you're looking at her in a lustful way, and you don't even realize it. And so I think just as I got more aware of this, the more paranoid I started to become and the more anxious I started to become with dealing with social media and being on social media. And what I had to realize was even though, yes, I love creating content, I love doing this, I had to almost put boundaries on the amount of time that I'm spending on social media. And if that, for me, what that looks like is I really try to minimize the amount of scrolling that I'm doing. So if I'm on TikTok, I'm going to post my TikTok and then I'm getting off. Or maybe I might see the first one or two TikToks and then that's it. But I've tried to be hyper aware of almost like my thumb. So if I'm like scrolling on there, I'm aware of like, okay, I've kind of been scrolling a lot. Let me chill out. Let me go, do something else. And for me, that's really helped me out because I've just noticed that in social media, it's just way too easy to just stare at a woman. And obviously, because you're staring at a woman through a screen, there's no one to judge you for just staring at a woman. Versus in public, of course, there's that fear of like, oh shoot, like if I stare at this girl for 15 seconds, it's gonna be weird. If I just like look at her or if I keep looking at her, it's just gonna look really weird. It's gonna make you look like a creeper. And so that's why I wanted to make this video because lust is just something that we all struggle with at some point in time. And to anybody who's struggling with lust, I want you to understand that it's important that you not give up. It's important that you not live in shame because that's exactly what the devil wants. The devil wants you to give up. The devil wants you to just accept that, well, it is what it is, and it's just kind of what you do, and there's no point in changing because you can't. And that's false because every sin that we struggle with, Jesus has already conquered. And so Jesus has already conquered lust. So it's important to remember that as long as we give Jesus our lust and we trust him, we have faith in him to help us overcome this, then it's something that you can overcome. And even if you slip or you fall, to never give up the fight because that's exactly what the devil wants. Is the devil wants you to fall and he wants you to stay down. He doesn't want you to get back up. And that's what I had to realize as well is if you ever slip up, instead of wasting that time or using that energy to beat yourself up, use that energy to kind of think about what caused you to slip. Was it the fact that you got stressed out? Was it the fact that, you know, things have been tough or you were alone and you didn't know what to do? So, when you can figure out what the root cause of your problem is, now you know how to properly deal with the issue. Because for me, along with just like scrolling on social media, I realized, okay, well, if I'm alone, that means I need something to almost like shift my mind towards. So if that means I'm putting time in to create content, if that means I'm spending time with Jesus, that means I'm reading, that means I'm praying, or if that means sometimes I'm just watching a TV show that I've wanted to watch, but something to kind of get my mind thinking about something other than the fact that, oh, I'm alone and technically I could watch porn right now and no one would know. Because it's oftentimes it's thoughts that trigger those actions. And so the more that you analyze and become aware of, okay, what are the thoughts that are triggering this, that's, you know, triggering this behavior? When you think about that, it puts you in a much better position to actually do something about it, to actually take those actions and take those steps in the right direction. And so I hope that if you guys are struggling with this, I'm praying for all of you guys, because this is something that it's important that we pray for one another when it comes to dealing with this. And it's important that we all keep the faith and that we keep going. And that if you know anybody who's struggling with lust, it's important that if you want to share this video with them so that way they can see it and feel encouraged to know that they're not alone in this, that there's a lot of other people that are fighting the same thing. And so I hope that you guys found this video helpful, and that if social media is something that's causing you to kind of fall into that pattern, sometimes it means even like trying to retrain the algorithm. Because that's another thing I did with my TikTok and with my Instagram was I started searching a lot of like Christian like artists like Forrest Frank, John Keith, No Big Deal, Caleb Gordon, Alex Jean, Keyshawn Boone. But I started searching these guys on Instagram and I started liking a ton of their stuff. And what that did was, I think I did that on Instagram and TikTok. And what that did was it helped almost reshape the algorithm to the point where now a lot of what I get on my For You page and that stuff is a lot of like reels about like music, or TikToks about Christian music or things like that. And so that can help if you know that, okay, well, I don't know if I see myself just giving up on social media or using it, try to retrain the algorithm, whether that's YouTube, whether that's whatever, into giving you more content based on what you actually want to see. And if you can do that, of course, there's a slim chance that, you know, you might see a video that you don't need to be seeing, or whatever. You might see a video that might trigger you. But the chance of that happening is a lot more unlikely now that you've kind of retrained the algorithm. And so I hope that this video blesses you guys. I hope that you guys found value in it. And if you guys like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll talk to all of you guys in the next video.